So everybody keeps asking me the status update of London, and I'm just going to go ahead and give that status update. So as you all know, London was the very first relationship of all of my adult years, and I waited so many suffering years. I built my house from the ground up. I did not have parents. I went through children's home academies. I was on the missing flyers when I was little. I lived homeless at the end of 2020 after I was hit by a car, and I finally got my property a few years later, and then I built this from the ground up, and you all had seen that in the videos. And so, after a while, after many long years of all of that, I finally decided it's time for a relationship, but I did not want to choose just anybody, so I practically interviewed, and I had a list of a bunch of questions, and nobody really met my criteria. So, I made a lot of good friends, but it never went past that point, and I never met those people in person, because I'm not going to meet someone in person unless I know I can trust the person, on the levels. And so I video called London, and I got to know his entire life story. Now, we had known each other for many months before he actually came in person, and we could literally recite each other's entire life story. So we can like recite each other's life story very well, which makes
I
me
would say so, yeah.
which makes me feel better. Well, I have a lot more to write, by the way, and I'm excited to write more. I could literally, if he could recite my life story by memory, and I could recite his entire life story by memory. And so we were on an extreme level of communication with each other. We communicated about everything. I would sing him bedtime stories almost every night. I would sing to him a lot of my songs and explain what my songs mean.
Building a reputation is more of understanding God as well. And so I pray that this lesson sticks with you tonight, the difference between investing into permanent and temporary. And I feel like, my song, when I was seeing visions of things like when you're old and you think like, what will stay in my life? And like I said, investing into a bond with God is like a big thing. Investing into a bond with your marriage partner is a big thing. Investing into a bond with your friends is a big thing. Investing into a bond with your family is a big thing. You want to keep those foundations in your life, right? And whether if it's just sending like a simple text message to your family, to your friends, and just saying, hey, I wanted to pray for you, take a moment to just pray that you all are staying healthy and doing very well, and just send that message to all of your good friends. Send that message to your family. And it's something that just checks up on them. Say, hey, I just want to check up on you, to ask you how you're doing, and just pray that you all are staying healthy. And that's something that helps, right? And when it comes to foundation, and like I said in the song, or from the song, your family, they're going to have their own life. They're going to get married. They're going to have their own life. And then your friends, they're going to have their own life. And then there's going to be a point when you get old, and the only relationship that's really going to be there for you is marriage, right? And so that's why it's important to build a healthy marriage for each other. And I'm just going to sing this last part, and then we can go to bed after that, okay?
Okay.
But I would rather have forever instead of temporary, because I know growing old sometimes can be a little scary, because everything in life will pass you by like the blink of an eye, and everything you would just wonder why you did not invest into foundation and things that were longer lasting. And in life you should be casting those evil things away from your life. You cannot make room for mistakes, because the future of potential is more than it takes. Because I would rather have forever instead of temporary, because I know in life growing old can be a little scary. And I pray that, because everything in life will pass you by like the blink of an eye. So instead of asking why, just look at yourself and give it a try. And keep the heavens close with you always, and have a foundation in your days. And always pray to keep your faith strong, and no matter what, we carry on. And I pray that we can carry on with good foundation, and that we can build this together. And that is why I'm building with you, is because I want a foundation with you. Don't be special. That's not dumb. Never say that what you say is dumb. You are very intelligent.
I'm not, but I appreciate that you lied to me like that.
Have confidence within yourself. Say, I am intelligent.
Okay, well,
Say
I
it.
hope that you have
Say
a
it.
good note.
Please say it. Say, I am intelligent.
I am sort of intelligent.
No. Say, I am intelligent. The Bible talks about
I am intelligent.
Yes, very good. Scripture talks about the importance of the power of I am. When you say I am, and you say good things about yourself, it puts empowerment to your brain. It helps your brain when you do that. your brain is working so hard to calculate all of those little details. And you got to have confidence, say, I am intelligent, I am smart, I am strong.
And so, we got very heavily bonded. I sent him several letters, and he knew I was waiting for marriage. He knew I had never had a relationship in all of my adult years. He knew I had never had s'mores around a campfire with someone. I had never done sword fighting with someone. I'd never done painting on a canvas with someone. I had never done push-ups with someone. Like, I was so extremely inexperienced with things, and so he had known that. Didn't you are such a blessing?
You're very beautiful.
How I have billions of cells and thousands of layers within me, and how there's some layers of me that's lonely,
Yeah.
wanting to bond and feel.
Yeah. Well, when we get married, you're going to feel a lot of new things.
Yes, please. And consistency is the healing thing. Be with me for 80 years.
Yes.
But you would be like my mega mind, I think.
I don't think I'm that smart.
You are very intelligent. You know how to do a lot of things that I do not know how to do.
Yeah.
Maybe you can teach
Like
me.
what?
I do not know. Like, just a lot of things. You have more experience with some things than I do.
Yes. I'll be teaching you a lot of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be patient, so I pray that we will be patient and devoted and honorable towards one another. And I know that when it comes to patience, I know sometimes it may be difficult to have self-control, like when we get aggravated or, maybe upset, but I think that, like, sometimes when we do not agree, like, I pray that we can just talk it out, and just stay together for 50 plus years. That's so valuable. I pray for the longest lasting marriage I've ever known. But we have a lot of experiences to make together.
I completely 100% agree with you.
So think of 52 years together. We'll be old geezers.
Yeah, we will be.
But there were several times, so he would target the word marriage, He knew I was waiting for marriage, so he tried to convince me and deceive me that he was going to marry me.
Well, when we get married, you're going to feel a lot of new things.
Yes, please. I have it recorded, when he would use the "when we get married" term, and then we even planned our marriage, and we planned that I would design the wedding dress and his wedding suit, and we planned that we would have two ceremonies. The first is a religious ceremony, the second is an at-home ceremony, which is like a typical American ceremony, and so those were the two wedding ceremonies that we were going to have. And so we had planned how many children we wanted in the future. We planned our careers in the future. We planned, everything that we was going to do. And so he was on that level of understanding that I was very serious, and I am very serious about marriage. And I told him, I said, I want an 80-year marriage, 60 to 80-year marriage. That's what I want. He made it out like he wanted that too. And then he even told me that he would marry me 100%. And so that made me feel like, oh, if you're just going to go ahead and marry me, I'm going to put all my effort forth. But everybody's telling me that he was just trying to use me, and he only said it because he was trying to use me. And I just cannot fathom that, because, how can a person be so unsympathetic? And he knows my life story was traumatizing, and that I had built my home from the ground up, and I have been very devoted over all of these suffering, struggling years that I have built from the ground up, and he had known that. And so he ended up, after the 4th of July incident, right, which was an incredible time, and I proposed a ring, a commitment ring, not just any ring, a ring that represents our commitment and our future marriage to be over 80 years. That ring represented a lot for me. And so, but he made it out like it represented a lot for him too. He made it out like that was something that he was going to be, you know, 100% about in commitment until after. And then he went back to the Fort Sill base, right? And I messaged him. Actually, we video called, and I said, hey, why are you not wearing your ring lately? And I said, do you know what this ring represents? And I was wearing my ring, and I told him, I said, this ring represents our commitment. And he was like, oh, I guess. And I'm like, what do you mean you guess? He started behaving a lot different, in other words.
There is a game called What If, and it's when I ask you scenarios and then you have to answer like what you would do in a certain situation. So when it comes to loyalty, how important is loyalty to you?
It's very important.
Okay, so in what if scenarios? So I'm gonna say like for me. So number one, like would I wear my ring in certain places? Like an example, something that represents a commitment. Do you think that wearing something that represents a commitment is a part of staying loyal if it's wearing that around people publicly?
Well, it depends.
Like in the
Like, if
example.
we're talking about like a ring, and you're married, I mean, yeah, it'd be weird for someone to take it off unless they have a reason to.
Right, that's understandable. So so with commitment, and it's more of like a ring for any kind of commitment. So do you look at our ring like it is a sign of our commitment, or do you look at it like, what do you look at it like?
Well, it's a ring,
But it resembles something, right?
I guess.
What do you mean, I guess?
I don't know.
Is there something wrong?
What do you mean?
Like I'm asking like, okay, so we gave like a married couple as an example.
If I'm married, if I'm out in public and I don't have a need to take my ring off, I'm not going to take it off.
Okay, so in the case scenario, but I'm saying like in the case scenario of our commitment, because one thing is like, for
Well,
me,
we're not married.
this ring, that's exactly why I got a ring that is like as a necklace so that it would not bother you. And if you're running, you can actually tuck it in and then run so it's not gonna like fly up your face or anything like that. So one thing is like what a ring represents. A ring is not just a ring. When someone literally gets down and asks you, would you be my life partner? You know, why did you put it out? Like when I asked you, what does that ring mean to you? What does that represent to you? And you was like, I don't know, I guess. And you know, that response sort of made me question like why you said I don't know, like why you did not. Do you see that as a sign or a symbolism of our commitment together?
Commitment as far as like dating, yeah.
Okay, I don't really see us as like dating. I see it like soon to be married life partnership. That's why
But we're not married.
I waited all of my adulthood. I was very focused on life partnership, not dating. You know, so I mean, if you would like to say life partnership instead of dating, it would sound more focused on the future. So, you know, hopeful and motivated. Does that make sense to you?
Okay.
And the ring represents life partnership. That's what I feel like when you wear that, you're not just think you're just wearing a ring. You're wearing something that represents our future children, and what we can build and what we are going to build in the future. But you didn't say that because you were like having doubts or anything, right?
No.
Promise?
Yeah, I promise.
And then he even got to the point in cussing me out terribly because I was just asking him if he was okay and if he was alive. And, you know, because he did not message me for the past 2 days. And so I sent 5 messages. The first one was a prayer message. 3 messages was just praying for him if he was okay or not. And then the last message was a prayer that everybody gets exercise, because I was going on a 2-mile march with my ruck bag, and I was going to take the trash out. So I just wanted to say a quick prayer. And it was just a 1-minute, video. It wasn't like, anything too long. And so he ended up getting angry that I sent messages, and he's like, you're sending too many messages at once. I'm done with you, kind of thing. And I was like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. And it continues not to make sense. And everybody is telling me all he had the intentions of was using me. All he had the intentions of was trying to be the first person of all of my adulthood to be in a relationship with me, the first person to ever do sword fighting with me, the first person to ever paint a canvas with me, the first person. That's what he wanted to take away, because he knew that if he took it, then nobody else could take that first time. And it was extremely deceptive. It was extremely dishonorable. And I'm just going to say this: before he actually came in person, I spoke to him for many, many months. Okay, many months we spoke. We could recite each other's life story. We had some happy times laughing together, praying together. We would pray together a lot. you know, and I would sing to him bedtime stories. I would sing to him my songs and explain what it means. And so for him to have, and then after all of those times that we had together, for him to have just done that, it does not register to me. It does not make sense.
Self-love and investing into yourself. That's something foundational that is very important. It's a part
It's
of
not necessary.
it is, because if you're, like I said, if
It's
you're
not.
not London, you're being rebellious towards me right now.
No, I just disagree with you. That's all.
So you think that it is not important to build sympathy for others within yourself?
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
You don't need. What do you like to have sympathy for others? What do you need to
Yes.
discover every little fact about yourself and the
No.
why and the when and the how?
No, I'm talking about
That's
about
literally
self.
what you're saying, though.
I'm not saying that. I just said that as a
because
part.
You were pointing at that and saying that is required.
You have to listen to me. I said that was just one part of it. I said investing
You said it was
into.
necessary.
I said investing into yourself is investing into understanding how you can build your sympathy, how you can build your patience, how you can build your
Or what, sure,
kindness,
whatever.
how you can build your peace. You have to build those things within yourself. When you have peace, when you have kindness, when you have patience, when you have self-control, when you have that, you're actually building that for others, but not only for others, but also yourself. And what that does is it prolongs your relationships, whether if that's your family, whether if that's your friends, whether if that is your marriage partner. But it's very important to understand that self-love is a key aspect to having a relationship with others. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
London, what is going through your mind? Say what is on your mind, please.
I don't know why every single time that we call and that we talk, you have to go into all this.
Well, I'm singing my song, Forever and Temporary.
But you don't have to go into every tiny little detail of every single thing.
I'm not. If I was, I'd be talking about your calculations as you put your hand over your head like you're being dramatic. Drama king. Well, I'm going to sing a little bit more of my song. I would rather have forever instead of temporary, because I know growing old sometimes just seems a little scary, 'cause everything in life will pass us by like the blink of an eye. I could have said those things when I could have, but as the time just passed by, I cannot take that time back, and I'm just left with the question of why. Why I did not do those things when I truly wanted to? Like the way I wanted to tell you that I truly love and care for you.
And you know, I'm not going to be wasting my years with relationships, especially how much time that he deceived me. And it's a question for me, like, did he have the intentions of that from the start? Because that is just extremely deceptive. That's on the extreme level of deceptive behavior. And so, you know, I would never cuss at someone, and I showed my friend Jesse, and he's a very good friend of mine. He's in the Marines, and he's going to help me to go to the Marines. I'm going to the recruiter soon. I'm going to shave off all of my hair. I'm going a different route in life. I don't want relationships, marriage, or any of that, because guess what? I'm going to be focused on honoring this nation, and I'm not going to be focused on relationships at all, because I don't want to be deceived like that again. That was extremely painful. And for him, it was just easy to deceive me. And that's what makes me so angry. And so, you know, the situation of, you know, the entire thing, it continues to hurt me a lot. For him, it doesn't. Because obviously, you know, a deceiver does not care and is completely careless. The thing is, you all, he was a good person until he did that. But that's the thing, like, good people are good people until they do bad, right? Exactly. So, anyway, I would be honored to honor this nation and to join the Marines and, you know, to show my best for this nation and this world. So my friend Jesse is going to help prepare me to to go to boot camp and to meet the requirements that they need. And with the situation of London, you know, I pray for him. Count all the years that I waited for a relationship, okay? And so all of those years I think should be put on to him. Because people need to learn their lesson, okay? But anyway, so with the situation of, you know, relationships, I'm not going to be in a relationship ever again. That was extremely deceptive and extremely painful, and I know what is best for me, and it's best for me not to be in a relationship. It takes up a lot of time. It makes you feel, you know, the worst feelings after a person dishonors. So I don't want to deal with that pain ever again. And I'm just going to focus on the betterment of my future. But I pray for you all. This is a status update of what happened. Stay healthy, invest wisely, and invest into my educational songs. You can get your free products on my educational songs, and I will be talking to you all soon. Stay healthy. And if you want to comment below of any questions that you have that I did not cover in this episode, you can. But this is the last status update video that I am planning to put forward.